Friends, will make a beginning with the new topic, that is with respect to the companies there is a concept called as minimum alternate tax. When the company is liable to pay the minimum alternate tax, point is you first look at what is the tax obligation in the normal way in which you are calculating the tax. Then compare that particular tax with your 18.5% of the book profits. And in case if your 18.5% of the book profits is more than your regular tax obligation, then company need to pay the tax at the rate of 18.5%. That's what we call it as a concept of the MAT. Now the point here is, like, before I get into the amendment part of it, how do you calculate the MAT? How do you calculate the book profits? See, to your taxable profits, certain adjustments need to be carried out. And more particularly, when I say book profits, I have to take the profit figure, and that profit figure must be the one based on the profit and loss account prepared as per the revised schedule 6. And to that we have to make certain adjustments. More particularly, this concept is brought for the simple reason that there are some companies which say we are zero tax companies. Despite of having the book profits, they are saying that they have got the zero tax. The reason for that being they are entitled for certain exemptions and the deductions. Now the lawmaker says minimum this much of the tax you require to offer, and subsequently in the future years, in case your tax profits are more than the 18.5% of the book profits, then it is only your tax profits which you require to pay. At that point of time, whatever the extra tax that you have paid earlier because of the MAT application, that extra, that is the difference between 18.5% of the book profits and the regular tax obligation, which we take it as a tax credit, that the tax credit is allowed to be deducted against the tax payable. That is about the minimum alternate tax. Now the point here is, what are the amendments brought by the Finance Act of 2012 is a point. Of course, there are only 3 amendments in this particular topic. Like, first thing is, there are certain companies like banking companies, insurance companies, electricity companies, and with respect to these companies, they require to prepare their profit and loss account and balance sheet based on your Banking Regulation Act. Like that, there are some regulators over those companies, and that respective act prescribes how to prepare the profit and loss account and the balance sheet. Now those companies used to again prepare the profit and loss account as per the schedule 6, and then look at what is the MAT and all. Now, and some people, they also have gone to the court stating that since we are not preparing the profit and loss account as per the schedule 6, this particular MAT provisions are not applicable to us, is also their contention, which the court said no, and now we want to give a much relief to all those companies like banking, insurance and electricity, by saying that you need not prepare one for your regulator and another for the purpose of the MAT. Whatever you are preparing based on the act governing you, that profit only we will consider it as a book profit with necessary adjustments, whatever it is. Then the next amendment here is like with respect to the insurance business, you have book profits, then for that insurance business related profits, your MAT does not have any application. These are the things which are being amended. So, another important thing in respect of which amendment is made is, some companies are doing what? They are revaluing their assets and transferring the profit to the revaluation reserve, and subsequently is making a sale of that particular assets. Let us suppose 100 rupees is the value of the assets. Then they will revalue it to 120 rupees. Thereby the 20 rupees they will take to the revaluation reserve, and subsequently the asset gets sold at 120, and this 20 rupees of the profit which is there in the revaluation reserve, they directly credit to the transfer to the general reserve. Thereby they are not taking this profit component into the computation of the book profits. Now law want to put an end to that particular drama also, and said whatever the profit on account of the sale which conveniently you have first transferred to the revaluation reserve and then shifted to the general reserve should also be considered while calculating the book profits. So basically these are the three amendments in the area of minimum alternate tax. Let us have a look at what the PowerPoint says. As per section 115 JB, every company is required to prepare its accounts as per schedule 6 of the Companies Act. However, as per the provisions of the Companies Act 1956, certain companies like insurance, banking and electricity companies are allowed to prepare their profit and loss account in accordance with the provisions of as specified in the regulatory acts. So, in order to align the provisions of Income Tax Act with Companies Act 1956, it is proposed to amend section 115 JB to provide that the companies which are not required, the companies which are not required under section 211 of the Companies Act to prepare their profit and loss account in accordance with the schedule 6 of the Companies Act 1956, profit and loss account prepared in accordance with the provisions of their regulatory acts shall be taken as the basis for computing the book profits under section 115 JB. See, another thing is like Finance Act 2012 reversed several court judgments. Look at here what made us to get into the concept of that revaluation reserve to also be considered into the book profits. What has happened? At times the amount standing in the revaluation reserve is taken directly to the general reserve on disposal of the revalued assets. Thus the gain attributable for revaluation of the assets are not subjected to the MAT liability. In case of ITO versus Galaxy SaaS Private Limited, it has been held that amount on account of the revaluation of the assets sold and taken to the balance sheet as revaluation reserve cannot be added to the book profits. So, in order to reverse this particular decision and to bring the intent, purposive intent of that particular provision, now an amendment is being made. It is therefore proposed to amend section 115 JB to provide that book profits for the purpose of section 115 JB shall be increased by the amount standing in the revaluation reserve relating to the revalued asset which has been retired or disposed, if the same is not credited to the profit and loss account. So, these are the amendments. Please make note of these amendments. First one, section 115 JB, section 115 JB is amended to provide in case of income arising from life insurance business, the tax under this section will not be payable. In other words, MAT provisions will not apply. From assessment year 2001 and 2 onwards, will not apply. From assessment year 2001 and 2 onwards, in respect of income from life insurance business. Then the second amendment, section 115 JB is amended with effect from assessment year 2013 and 14, with effect from assessment year 2013 and 2014, to provide that in case of a company such as insurance, banking, electricity company, for which the form of profit and loss account, and balance sheet is prescribed in the act, governing such companies, the book profits shall be determined, on the basis of the form of profit and loss account, prescribed under the act. Further, in respect of the companies to which Companies Act applies, book profit will be computed, on the basis of on the basis of revised schedule 6, on the basis of revised schedule 6. Then the third amendment, probably this particular amendment, and based on this there could be a practical question coming in the examination. So please take this. Section 115 JB is amended with effect from assessment year 2013 and 14, and it is now provided that book profits will be increased by amount standing to the credit of revaluation reserve, relating to revalued asset, which has been discarded or disposed of, comma, if the same is not credited to profit and loss account. If the same is not credited to the profit and loss account. So mainly this provision is applicable in situation where SCs conveniently shifted their revaluation reserve to general reserve without bringing it to the profit and loss account. Then you have to take into consideration even that revaluation reserve, which represents the profit on assets which got revalued on their sale or on their being discarded. So these are broadly the amendments made by the Finance Act of 2012 in the area of MAT. Now I will move to the next aspect, that is alternate minimum tax. What is this alternate minimum tax? We will take up with a small break. Friends, let me start with alternate minimum tax. See, amendments are being made in the different chapters of the income tax law, and year after year we are in to make widening of the tax base. In the sense, government definitely feels that even in the presence of exemptions and deductions, still let the SSEs who have got the book profits, let them pay the tax. In the sense, last year they have brought a similar concept to the concept of the MAT in respect of the limited liability partnerships with a new name called as alternate minimum tax, and they said it is only applicable to the LLPs. Now they said, why only LLPs? Let us now extend the same to all the non-corporate entities like individuals, HUFs, AOPs, BOI. Now basically what is the point here? Tax the wealthiest and feed the poor is the concept of our country. Law is kind enough to say that these provisions are not applicable to this extended group of individuals and HUFs and AOPs and UIs in case if their adjusted total income does not exceed 20 lakhs. So only for the big people this particular concept of alternate minimum tax we brought into the play. Then of course what is the rate of tax? It is 18.5%. With respect to the companies we use the word book profits. With respect to the alternative minimum tax which is applicable to other than companies, we are using the word adjusted, what is it, 18.5% of the adjusted total income. Now how do you calculate that adjusted total income? See, whatever the calculation that you made for arriving at the tax profits, definitely you might have given the deductions with respect to the 10AA and deductions under chapter 6A, that is 80HH2, 80RRB, except that section 80P. All those deductions you add back to your taxable profits, so that what you get is the your adjusted total income. So basically this is what the amendment, and you have got a similar concept called as tax credit. In case if you are paying alternate minimum tax, the difference between alternate minimum tax and the regular tax, that is allowed to be taken credit in case in subsequent years if tax profits are more than the book profits, that is the 18.5% of the adjusted total income, then you can take a credit of it. And how long you can carry out this particular credit is for 10 assessment years immediately following this particular assessment year to which that credit pertains to. So only thing, the amendment which is being brought in this particular area is they have enlarged that particular base by saying that it is not only for LLPs but also for the, what is it, your other non-corporate SSEs. So have a look at, that is generally our understanding, what should be the specific understanding. Section 115 JC to JE for levy of alternate minimum tax on adjusted total income of the LLP have now been extended to other non-corporate SSEs like individuals, HUFs, AOPs and BOI and firm. Now new section 115 JEE is also added from the assessment year 2013 and 14. Now what are basically the provisions here are, the provisions of 115 JC will now apply to LLPs and all other non-corporate SSEs and according to 115 JC what it says, now in case this alternate minimum tax provisions are applicable to you, you have to obtain an audit report in the prescribed form before the due date. This is one aspect. Second is 115 JEE says what? That is, in case of individuals, HUFs and AOPs and BOIs and artificial judicial persons, alternate minimum tax will not be payable if the adjusted total income does not exceed, what is it, 20 lakhs. Next aspect of it is a percentage. AMT is payable at 18.5% plus applicable surcharge and educational cess of the adjusted total income if the amount of such tax is more than the tax payable on the total income computed under the other provisions. Then the other aspects that you should remember is, how do I define the adjusted total income? See, total income as computed under the Income Tax Act. Unlike your MAT, this is not that difficult. Here in a normal way you calculate your total income as per the income tax law, and what you have to add back, deductions which you claimed under section 80 HH to 80 RRB except ATP, and a deduction claimed under 10 AA. These things you add back so that what you get is a adjusted total income, and 18.5% you have to calculate on that. See, section 115 JD says what? The tax credit for alternate minimum tax paid for will be allowed for 10 years. That is another aspect. And then all other sections of income tax are equally applicable even with respect to the alternate minimum tax. And then section 115 JF says what? Definitions will continue to apply to LLP and also the other non-corporate SCs to whom section 115 JC and 115 JE for payment of alternate minimum tax apply. So, Finance Minister, while extending this particular provision to the all other non-corporate SSEs, in the memorandum explaining that particular finance bill says, under the existing provisions of Income Tax Act, minimum alternate tax and alternate minimum tax are levied on companies and limited liability partnerships respectively. However, no such tax is levied on other forms of the business organization such as partnership firms, sole proprietorships and association of persons. So, in order to widen the tax base, that is profit linked deductions, it is proposed to amend the provisions regarding the alternate minimum tax contained in chapter 12BA in the Income Tax Act to provide that person other than the company who has claimed the deductions under any section other than section 80P included in the chapter 6A under the heading deductions in respect of certain incomes or under section 10AA shall be now payable, to liable to pay AMT. So, of course, this we love to understand with an example, but before that I expect the students to make note of all the important changes that are being brought into this particular area. Please make note of it. First, alternate minimum tax. Point number 1. The provisions of section 115 JC, the provisions of section 115 JC will now apply to LLP and all other non-corporate SSEs, that is individual, HUF, AOP, comma BOI, comma firm, etc. Point number 2. Under section 115 JC, under section 115 JC, SSEs will have to obtain, SSEs will have to obtain audit report in the prescribed format, will have to obtain audit report in the prescribed format before the due date, before the due date. Before the due date. Third and most important, third point, in section 115 JEE, section 115 JEE, in case of individuals, comma HUF, comma AOP, comma BOI, or artificial juridical person, or artificial juridical person, alternate minimum tax AMT will not be payable, if the adjusted total income, if the adjusted total income does not exceed 20 lakhs. Next point, fourth point, alternate minimum tax, is payable, alternate minimum tax is payable at 18.5%, at 18.5% plus applicable surcharge and educational cess of the adjusted total income, if the amount of such tax, is more than the tax payable, on the total income, computed under the provisions, of Income Tax Act, provisions of the Income Tax Act. Then friends, adjusted total income, next point, adjusted total income is defined to mean, adjusted total income is defined to mean the total income computed under, Income Tax Act, computed under Income Tax Act, increased by A, deductions claimed under Chapter 6A, that is 80 HH2, 80 RRB brackets other than section ATP brackets other than section ATP. Next, B, deductions claimed under section 10AA, deductions claimed under section 10AA. What is the 10AA? SEZ income. Then friends, next point, the other important provisions, the other important provision, or otherwise the last point here is section 115 JD. It says what? Tax credit for AMT, tax credit for AMT, alternate minimum tax, paid will be allowed for 10 years, will be allowed for 10 years. Of course, I am not making you to write, but you have to remember that all other provisions of income tax are equally applicable even when AMT is applicable to them. Now, you can understand this particular alternate minimum tax with a small example. You just have a look at, and again let me tell you, this example is also being picked up from your amendments notes given by the ICAI. In saying so, my objective is, don't worry about from where the question is being picked, and you need not write the solutions. Approach you just to see and then practice at your leisure and convenience, but without practice please don't go. See, these sessions are being taken for about 20 hours for the simple reason I am reading once, explaining once, and then making you to write once. Thereby, one more time you are looking should enable you to make a good presentation at your exam. So, one time writing is 10 times reading. So, please love to write whenever I am asking you to write. Come back. Mr. Rajesh has an income of 45 lakhs under the head profits and gains from business or profession. One of his business is eligible for deduction at the rate of 100% of the profits under section 80 IB for the assessment year 2013 and 14. The profits from such business included in the business income is rupees 20 lakhs. Compute the tax payable by Mr. Rajesh, assuming that he has no other income during 2012 and 13. See, point here is his total income is what? 45 lakhs. So, first you calculate in the normal way what is his tax profits under the normal provisions of the tax. From 45 lakhs we have to deduct the, what is it, section 80 IB, thereby the total income of him comes to 25 lakhs. On that, if you calculate the tax up to 2 lakhs, it is nil. 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, it is 10%, that is on 3 lakhs, that 10% means 30,000. From 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, on that 5 lakhs 20% means 1 lakh, and from 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs, on that 15 lakhs at the rate of 30% is 4,50,000, whereby the total tax obligation works out to be 5,80,000. Now, what you are asked to do is compute the alternate minimum tax. How to compute the alternate minimum tax? What is the profit as per the Income Tax Act 1961? Add deductions under section 80 IB, add back the 20 lakhs, thereby you get 45 lakhs, and on that 45 lakhs alternate minimum tax is 18.5%, 8,32,500. So, since your alternate minimum tax is more than the tax as per the regular income tax provision, so what we say, the SC is liable for paying this particular alternate minimum tax. So, say since regular income tax payable as per the provisions of the Act is less than the AMT, adjusted total income of 45 lakhs would be the deemed to be the total income, and 18.5% of the same plus educational cess of 2% and secondary higher education cess of 1%, totally it works out to be 8,57,475. Then the credit, tax credit which he can take to the next 10 years is the difference between the alternate minimum tax and the regular tax, that works out to be 5,97,400 is a points. So, like that only simple questions will come in the exam. Only thing is whether the student knows those provisions or not is the whole testing process. So, friends, I covered the two most important aspects for the final. One is a minimum alternate tax and second is a alternate minimum tax. The next session is on non-resident taxation.